Hey all, and welcome! My name is Sierra Cassidy, and I am a Canadian smut author here to educate and entertain smut writers and readers. Today, I've got some book recommendations for you. Before we get rolling, I want to tell you about the first book of my new Shifter series that I've just put up for pre-order. The Bloodline series is a build a polycule paranormal spicy romance. Our heroine will gain love interests of multiple genders over the course of the series, some of which will have pre-existing relationships with other polycule members, and she will not need to choose between them by the end of the story. The Bloodline series will be kicking off with Bloodline Unbound, that will also contain the prequel Bloodline Untouched. If you'd like to get your paws on the prequel early, you can grab it by signing up for my newsletter. I'll have the link in the description for that. Let me introduce you a little more with the blurbs. Bloodline Untouched. Logan was great at taking care of the rescue cats and kittens she took in. Herself, well, not so much. Sleepless from late-night feedings and the demands of her four-footed rescues, her days were a blur of spreadsheets, her only company the bottle baby's tiny, hungry mews. That is, until a pair of her rescue cats started talking back to her. Now she has to contend with the sudden appearance of not one, but two gorgeous naked men in her life, as well as the existence of telepathy and shifters. Both still love to curl up in bed with her at night, but one is just fine with keeping her up well past her bedtime and waking her up with breakfast for good measure. But when Caden wants to stay and Seth needs to go, Logan's heart longs to make her fine feline companions stay right where they are. Both of them. Can she keep their uneasy peace in place, or will these former strays lead her astray too? And Bloodline Unbound. Now that her long days as an accountant have been spiced up by the big reveal of her new shifter boyfriend, Caden, Logan thought life would settle down. But when an unexpected and familiar visitor turns up with a magic-eating monster on his tail, things change in a big hurry. Logan wanted Seth back, but definitely not like this. Forced to leave her home behind and go on the run with a pair of bickering brothers, the only thing more tense than their old feud is the sexual tension she feels for both of them. The link to pre-order Bloodline Unbound will be below. I'm intending to rapid release the series, so the date for book 1 will be moved up as soon as the rest of the series is drafted, which shouldn't be too long from now. Now let's get into some recent releases. Not Their Burden by Melissa Huxley. This title released June 14th and is a contemporary Why Choose Omegaverse with forced proximity. Blurb. Pack Omega? More like Pack Burden. Sage was perfectly content in her little bubble, working and living as a beta at a large company, keeping in her own lane and not making any waves. Until the universe decided to give her an abrupt status change. When a far from ideal development occurs and throws everything in her life into utter chaos, Sage is forced into an unforgiving world of alphas, brutality, and pack politics. She is nothing like the Omega they imagined, and they are far from the alphas she pictured. Can 4 alluring alphas give her back some semblance of her life and give her the freedom she fears is slipping through her hands? Or will she be stuck in a world where she is destined to be owned and destroyed? Next up is Bloody Deception by Ariana Barton. This title released July 1st and is an urban fantasy Why Choose with a glacial burn and is the first book in the series. Blurb. I've always loved deception. The caveat? I only like when I'm the instigator. Being the top female assassin in our guild gives me a lot of perks. My favorite? Not having to train the arrogant recruits, most of whom will end up in a body bag before the year is up. My boss knows this, so as punishment when I misbehave, I'm forced to do what I hate most. Train starry-eyed recruits so they might have a snowball's chance of survival. Though maybe I should be the one worried, because these two might be the death of me. Life doubles down on my misery by giving me fated mates I never asked for, and making me the star in a ruse I never saw coming. Things are happening in the shadows, and I better watch my back before someone sticks a knife through it. Still, they better be careful, because they aren't the only masters of deceit here. If they want to play, I'll play. I'll be their funeral. Next up is Queen of Vengeance by Poppy Jacobson. This title released July 11th and is a Why Choose Dark romance with a lengthy trigger list that you should check out before partaking. Blurb. You are invited. Welcome to the Brighton High School 10-year reunion. I sacrificed everything for a fairy tale ending with my prom king. Only I knew the truth. Our happy ending was a nightmare that started when my future husband and his best friends took something from me I could never get back. I ended it 10 years later with an unmarked grave in my backyard, roughly the size and shape of my longtime tormentor. But it wasn't enough. I needed them all to suffer for what they did to me. The only impediments to my murderous revenge are my two best friends from childhood. All grown up, devastatingly handsome, and determined to save me from myself. Anyone who says high school reunions are boring have obviously never been to one like mine. Prom queen is nothing compared to what they'll call me when I finally take my revenge. Queen of Vengeance is a dark MMF romance about an unhinged FMC and the men who love her. It is part of the Brighton High School reunion series, but may be read as a standalone. Next up is Glittering Feather by Mary Bright. This title released July 12th and is a Why Choose Angel romance featuring parenting, humor, heartache, and forbidden love. It's a novella set after the Forgotten Angel series. Blurb. How hard could angelic parenting be? I had no fudging idea. You'd think, with the best birches in the universe and 4 smoking hot angelic soulmates by my side, I could help raise one celestial child without too much fuss. But when the child is a slightly demonic teenage criminal intent on destroying the realm to get what she wants, with an immortal canine accomplice the size of a Clydesdale, fuss doesn't come close. Fiasco is more like it. Glittering Feather is a novella set in the world of the Forgotten Angel. If you haven't read the trilogy, you'll be lost in the void, Birch. This story follows Feather and Precious and gives hints at what's ahead for our perfect devil girl. And now a few books you can look forward to in the rest of July. Not Their Reality by Miranda May. This title releases July 21st and is a Why Choose Omegaverse second chance romance about a reality dating show. Blurb. 2 years ago, I thought I'd found the one thing I'd been missing. A pack. Except they didn't want me. Now it's time to leave them in the past where they belong and find my pack with the help of Heated. As the second season's Omega, I have 20 alpha and beta suitors vying for a spot in my pack. We have 8 weeks to get to know one another, to unpack each other's baggage, and to see if we can be one another's forever. Except there are surprises being thrown at me left and right, leaving me completely off balance. I'm sure it'll make great television, but can I make it through this? I want to, no, I need to make this work. One thing they'll learn about me is that I don't give up. I will find my pack, but I'm quickly realizing that leaving the past behind isn't as simple as I once thought it would be. Next up is The Devil I Know by Bex DeVoe. This title releases on July 21st and is a paranormal Why Choose about a young mafia woman who gets offed and ends up in hell, where she has to befriend demons and navigate her new world. This is book 2 of the series, and I've read book 1. It's well worth your time and a very entertaining read. Since the series needs to be read in order, I'll include the link to book 1 to get you started. Blurb. Congratulations, you've made it to the winter solstice. For many students, it's time for some hard-earned rest. For the rest of you, eternity awaits. I thought I'd figured out this afterlife thing. That was before Wes enrolled in the university. Now I have more than my rank, a vengeful ex-boyfriend, and whatever weirdness is going on with Rath's dad to worry about. I need to save my brother. Allowing myself to feel something for these demons was a gamble, but now I have no choice but to trust them. I just hope I won't have to hurt them too. A deal is a deal. That's all for now. You can find all of my books and platforms in the description below, as well as links to all of the books mentioned in this episode. If you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, please do let me know. And if you'd like early access to these, you can join my Patreon, where I share them with people as soon as they're ready to roll. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon for another episode. Bye!